Hey everyone, have you ever just felt off? Like you're living in a world you weren't quite built for? Well, today we're diving deep into the book Go Wild by Dr. John Ratey and Richard Manning. It explores this really powerful idea that our modern lives are in a direct clash with our ancient biology. So let's get into it.
So right off the bat, the book hits us with this massive paradox. I mean, think about it. We have more comfort, more safety, and more technology than any humans in history. And yet, we're sicker and more stressed than ever. We're dealing with this tidal wave of what the authors call diseases of civilization, things like obesity, anxiety, diabetes. So what on earth is going on? And this just nails the core idea. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors, they were wild. They were agile, they were resilient, and they were deeply connected to their environment and each other. Now look at us. We've become tamed, sedentary, anxious, and, as we're learning, chronically inflamed. The authors make it clear, this isn't just some cute metaphor, it's a biological reality. We have essentially domesticated ourselves, and it is making us sick.
Okay, so why? Why is this happening? Well, the answer is buried deep inside our own DNA. The book's entire argument hinges on this. We are all running ancient Paleolithic software on brand new modern hardware. And, just like with any computer, that mismatch is causing some serious bugs in the system.
Now, there's a formal name for this whole idea. It's called the discordance hypothesis, or you might hear it as evolutionary mismatch. All it really means is that our genes, which were perfected for the Paleolithic world, are completely out of sync with the modern one. The book puts it so perfectly. We are, for all intents and purposes, hunter-gatherers living in captivity. And just look at this timeline for a second. For 2.5 million years, our genes adapted to a very specific way of life. Then, and this is just a blink of an eye in evolutionary time, we slammed on the accelerator. We introduced agriculture, then the Industrial Revolution, and now the digital age. Our world changed at light speed, but our genetics, they've barely budged. But here's where it gets really hopeful. Your genes are not your destiny. The book makes this so clear. It's better to think of them as a massive panel of switches. And our modern lifestyle, sitting all day, eating junk food, staring at screens, is sending all the wrong signals. It's flipping the switches that lead to disease. The good news? We can flip them back. That's the power of epigenetics. Our choices tell our ancient genes how to behave, right here, right now.
So how do we start flipping those switches back towards health? According to the book, the single most critical place to start is to rewild our diet. It's about eating for the body we actually have, not for the crazy world we've accidentally built around ourselves. And let's start with public enemy number one. Get this, the average person today eats 152 pounds of sugar every single year. Back in the 1700s, that number was just 5 pounds. 5. This one change, this explosion of sugar in our diet, has had absolutely catastrophic effects on our health. This table just lays it all out, clear as day. On the left, you've got the tamed modern diet. It's loaded with inflammatory stuff like sugar, processed grains, and industrial seed oils that are packed with omega-6 fats, which drive inflammation. Now, look to the right. The wild diet our genes are screaming for is full of anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats from fish and nuts and high-quality protein from things like grass-finished beef. It's a totally different world. So, the takeaway here is pretty simple. Ditch the sugar and refined junk. Make healthy fats a priority. And choosing grass-finished meat over grain-fed is a game changer because you get a much healthier fat profile, one that your body actually recognizes. Oh, and don't forget the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, organ meats and bone marrow. Our ancestors prized them for a reason. Now, diet is a huge piece of the puzzle for sure, but it's not the only piece. We also have to restore these fundamental biological rhythms of movement and sleep, two things our modern lives have totally scrambled. I absolutely love this quote from Dr. Ratey. It just perfectly captures the chemical magic of movement. When you go for a good run, your brain naturally gets a dose of the very same neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, that are targeted by antidepressant and ADHD medications. It is literally medicine for your mind. And here's the science behind it. Vigorous and especially complex movement triggers a protein called BDNF. Dr. Ratey calls it miracle grow for the brain, and that's not an exaggeration. It literally helps you grow new brain cells. This is exactly why a trail run, where your brain has to constantly adapt to new terrain, is so much better for you than just mindlessly plodding along on a treadmill.
Okay, next up, sleep. Our modern life has absolutely wrecked our sleep, mostly because of all this artificial light. So the book proposes what it calls a digital sunset. It's simple. At least an hour before bed, kill all the screens. Make your room as dark as you possibly can to get your melatonin flowing. And here's a cool one. Just the presence of family or even a pet signals safety to that ancient part of your brain, letting you slip into a much deeper, more restorative sleep.
All right, beyond diet, movement, and sleep, there are two more pillars to this rewilding project that are absolutely essential. We have to fulfill our deep biological need for two things: nature and a tribe. This is all based on something called the biophilia hypothesis. Sounds fancy, but it just means we are genetically hardwired to love and need the natural world. Our brains, our eyes, our ears, our whole sensory system evolved to process the sights and sounds of nature. That's why being in a forest feels so deeply calming. It's not a luxury, it's a non-negotiable biological necessity. And this isn't just a feeling. It has real, measurable benefits. The Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, directly impacts our immune system. I mean, look at this chart. Time spent in a forest literally amps up the activity of our natural killer cells. You know, the ones that are on the front lines fighting viruses and tumors. That's incredible. And finally, we have to talk about the tribe. It is so important to understand this. Social isolation is a poison. It's been shown to be as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Real, actual, face-to-face connection releases oxytocin, that powerful anti-stress bonding hormone. Our nervous systems are literally designed to be calmed down and regulated by other trusted human beings. Okay, wow, we have covered a ton of ground here. So let's pull all of this together into a simple, actionable blueprint you can use to start honoring your ancient design right here in the middle of this crazy modern world. And here it is. It's that simple. For your diet, just eat real plants and animals. For movement, move your body often and try to do it in nature. For sleep, try to align with the sun and make your room dark. For your tribe, prioritize real connection over digital chatter. And for nature, get a dose of green space every single day. You know, these aren't just suggestions. They are the operating instructions for the human body. And that really leaves us with the final and maybe the most important question of all. Evolution spent millions of years perfecting this incredible design that is your body. The challenge for every single one of us is to ask ourselves, is the way I'm living my life today actually honoring that design? Thanks for tuning in.